Made on Ridgeway Sports Podcast, episode 38. Hunter Keister back with
K-Mac. Let's get it.
Here we go, coming at you. Just one podcast this week. We had some stuff going on. Kurt went out to visit some family, and life comes, life goes. So we're just gonna go with the flow and bring you guys a little hybrid episode on this Sunday night. We're going to first recap what was a pretty exciting week in college football, and then we have like 3 or 4 little mini segments we want to break down a couple games near and dear to our hearts, and then talk about some big things that happened thus far in college football. And then we will get into NFL and review the games. We didn't get to do our picks, but we will just review what happened in the recap the week of NFL as well. So that's the plan for this episode, and let's get right into it. Starting off with the college football week, and the first game is BYU Utah State 38-26. BYU beats Utah State. BYU improves to 4-1, drops Utah State to 1-4 on the season. BYU's quarterback 10 incompletions total, 274, average 10 yards of completion, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Good game for him. Running back 11 for 90 and a touchdown. Another solid game. 8 for 39 was his backup. Best receiver 5 for 86, 3 for 56, 4 for 51, 2 for 46 for BYU. So 38 points for them. Utah State 19 for 31 for their quarterback, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Their running back had a pretty good game. 18 for 104. They gave the lone rushing touchdown to the backup. That's pretty mean. Oh no, that was the quarterback. The quarterback had a rushing touchdown. Okay, that makes more sense. Their best receiver, Cobbs, had 10 for 96 and 2 scores. Not a bad day. BYU takes the win 38-26, and we will jump to a shocking Friday matchup, 40-32. Kurt, what do you think about this?
Man,
Handing Washington a loss. Charbonnet.
Zach Charbonnet.
Still doing his thing. It's good to see. I mean, I think it worked out for everybody. There wouldn't have been a place for him in Michigan running back room.
No, he would have been running back 4.
And probably 3. But he goes to UCLA, goes there for a couple years, and now he's really been improving his game and improving his draft stock, as he had a really good year last year. And now, 22 for 124 in the win over 15 Washington. That's going to definitely help them get ranked, as they're now 5-0. But look at this quarterback, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, 24-33, 315, 3 touchdowns.
It's a real good day passing.
Real good day. Best receiver, Jake Bobo, 6 for 142 and 2 touchdowns. Great game. Averaged 23 yards of reception. Charbonnet averaged 18 yards of reception on 3 of 56. He was second leading in receiving as well. He had what a great game.
Yes. Every week it seems like there's a game or a couple games where it's like someone just gets upset.
Yeah. Panic kind of fell off the wagon. I mean, he didn't play too bad, but he didn't play at his best for sure. 33 of 48, 345, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. He didn't run for any yards this game. I felt like he had been using his legs pretty well in the previous games, but the running game in this game was a
non-existent.
10 rushes for 48 yards was their best running back.
I mean, you're down 10-26 at half.
Yeah, you really can't run the ball. But I mean, Washington receivers had some days. I mean, 8 receptions for 116 and 2 touchdowns for O'Dunzy. And then Jalen McMillan, 6 for 61 and a score, as well as Wayne Tulupapa, 5 for 56 to round out Washington receiving corps. Big loss for Washington. First of the year, though, so they shouldn't drop too bad, but that should definitely make UCLA ranked, and they finally get that big win. You know, that kind of validates their success thus far. But now we have to talk about a shocking game. 26-22. Georgia record this on Sunday. The rankings come out and Georgia gets bumped down to 2, giving Alabama their spot back as the number 1 ranked team. And they narrowly escape Missouri here, 2-3. You know, they were 2-2 on the year. Georgia undefeated, and they barely escape.
Yes.
Missouri here. What a crazy game. Let's talk about Missouri first. Brady Cook, 20-32, 192 and a touchdown. I mean, he did what he needed to, man. So close to winning this game for Missouri. Close. Their running back, 6 carries for 89 yards and 9 for 37. So really nothing on the ground, but what do you expect against that Georgia defense? Crazy defense, but their best receiver, Lovett, 6 for 84, and Mookie Cooper, 5 for 55. Nothing really to write home about in this Missouri offense. But man, they played a tight game this entire game, and they hold the Georgia offense to 26 in the game, and they bow out in a 26-22 defeat. Really just kind of giving way in the fourth quarter, giving up 14 and only mustering 3 in the fourth.
Yeah, started out great.
And 6 points. 6 points in the second half.
16-6 at half was good.
Yeah, but 6 points in the second half isn't going to win you a game for sure. Stetson Bennett, 43 pass attempts for 24 completions, 312, no touchdowns passing. Running backs, McIntosh, 11 for 65. Milton, 7 for 63 in a score. And Daydon Edwards, 11 for 49 in a score. And they must have had a couple defensive touchdowns.
Yeah, they kicked 4 field goals.
Yeah, they got 2 touchdowns and 4 field goals. What a sloppy day for the Georgia Bulldogs team.
Absolutely.
That's crazy. They definitely deserve to drop, but I don't know how you can justify putting them above Ohio State and Michigan right now. Like, Ohio State looked really good. Michigan definitely had their doubts through a couple games, but they're undefeated as well. The SEC bias is obviously going to be there, but man, like, I don't know how they're above Ohio State and Michigan right now, but...
Yeah, it's a bit surprising, but it's really not,
The season will go on and teams will fall off. Georgia's got a big meeting with Auburn, SEC opponent there, and, Michigan plays Indiana, and Ohio State plays Michigan State, so... who knows what could happen and what could be an interesting week of college football next week. But Georgia survives and advances. That's all that's important. As, all of us in the critics can say whatever we want, but they do what they need to. They win the game, and they improved to 5-0 as well. As they stay the number 2 team in the country. And, they move on. Moving on, Alabama, just kind of coast through this game. Comfortably beats Arkansas 49-26. This game was really never in doubt, with Alabama up, 28-7 at half.
Yeah.
The Razorbacks put on a 16-point third quarter and shut out the Crimson Tide to kind of make things a little bit interesting going into the fourth. But the Crimson Tide settled back down, only allowed 3 points and scored 21 and win this game 49-26. 2 quarterbacks playing this game, and I do believe Bryce Young got hurt.
Yeah, he left with an injury.
He was 7 of 13 on the day, 173, a touchdown and a pick, so not his best day, as he obviously did get injured. The backup comes in 4-9, 65 yards and a touchdown. Their running backs really carry the day. Wow, what a day. Gibbs, 18 carries, 206 yards, and 2 touchdowns, averaging 11 a carry. His long of the day was 76 yards.
76.
The backup, 6 carries, 91 yards, and a touchdown. His long was a 77-yard run. He averaged 15 yards a carry. And, they definitely... Crimson Tide ran their way to victory this week. And we will look at the receivers here. 3 of 92 and a touchdown for Prentice, and nobody else really did anything. 2 of 76 for Bond, and JoJo Early had 1 of 22 and a touchdown. Looking at the Razorbacks in the loss, KJ Jefferson, 13 of 24, 155 and a touchdown. Cade Fortin, 4 of 10, 35 yards. Raheem Sanders, the running back, 22 carries, 100 yards and a touchdown on the Alabama defense is very good. You'll take that for sure. Ketron Jackson, 4 of 48 and a touchdown. And 6 of 37 is the only other Arkansas receiver worth mentioning.
Yeah, there's not really much to say there. Ohio State beats Rutgers.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it at that. I don't want to talk about them. I really don't. Ohio State took care of business as usual. There ain't nothing else to say there. They should have smoked Rutgers. That's it. Leave it at that.
Stroud, he throws 13 of 22, 154, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Not the best day, to be honest, against the Rutgers team. But Mayan Williams,
don't have to when you're running like that.
21, 189 and 5 touchdowns. Had some interesting comments from some Ohio State fans, including best running back in the Big Ten. Probably just trying to stir the pot.
Oh, that's comical.
Had to mention that. Yeah, that was pretty comical. Mbuka, 4 of 70. Julian Fleming, 4 of 51 and a touchdown. And Marvin Harrison, 3 of 18 and a touchdown. Nothing really too impressive out of Ohio State's offense. They just do what they need to. Rutgers only musters 10 completions, 74 yards and a touchdown for their quarterback with 1 pick. Running the ball, 79 yards for their running back. They don't do much. They score 10 points. Their highest receiver has 40 yards and a touchdown. Miserable day for Rutgers, and not much to talk about as we will move on from Ohio State. And we will quickly go over the Michigan win before we deep dive into it a little bit later on into the show. But Michigan picks up that ever-elusive, mysterious, tragic, we're top 5 teams gonna die lately. Kinnick Stadium win, 27-14. I think, I kind of downplayed this win in my mind yesterday. I mean, it was a big win, but it was a really big win for Michigan, man. Like, it's something they hadn't done in,
20-some years,
20-some years. They win there were some scares for sure. It wasn't looking the best at times, but they won in convincing 14-point fashion. So, we'll go into the stats here a little bit before deep diving later. McCarthy, 18 of 24, 155 and a touchdown. Just does what he needs to because Blake Corum, proves he's that bell cow of a running back with a 29 carry, 133 yards and a touchdown day for him as he pretty much takes down the Hawkeyes by himself. Donovan Edwards comes back from injury, only rushes for 5 carries for 29 yards. He would use a little bit in the passing game, but just kind of wanted to get him back from injury. So
absolutely,
we get a big win in Kinnick. This game would have been a lot closer, I will say, if Iowa's offense was even a lick at anything, even decent, as Michigan's offense kind of struggled at points in this game to generate offense. They had some 3 and outs, and then in the second half, the Michigan defense was on the field quite a bit, but that Iowa offense just couldn't do anything. Leading the way for Michigan, Luke Schoonmaker, 4 of 45, and that seems to be JJ's favorite target. The young guy, Andrew Anthony, leads the way for the receiving room. 1 reception for 29 yards. Well, let's see him get in more, but at least like I said when he made the reception, I said just play him enough so he doesn't transfer, so he sticks around when he's a senior upperclassman and he's really good. I hope he sticks around. Roman Wilson gets the bulk of the receptions, 4 of 28. Donovan Edwards, 4 of 21, and Ronnie Bell, 2 of 16. As A.J. Henning doesn't really make any plays in this game, which is crazy. He needs to be used more. And Cornelius Johnson only sees 1 reception. So, these receivers, we've been calling for it all year, but they got to be seen more, honestly. This is crazy that they're not being utilized enough, but, you can't. It's 5-0.
It was partially, in fact, due to the fact this game was more geared towards ground with Corum. When you're getting 4 yards, 5 yards a pop, stick with that. And that's really what they did. They didn't really put the ball in harm's way and throw the ball a crap ton because they didn't need to last week.
Yeah.
Just needed to not turn the ball over, just play a clean game, and move the sticks when you need to.
Talking about Iowa quickly, Spencer Petras, 21 of 31, 246, and a touchdown. This could have easily been 28 of 31 for like 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, and we could be talking about a completely different ball game, but he just couldn't hit some of the open throws. And, as a defense, you just got to kind of take the good with the bad. And I felt like Michigan's rushing defense played really well. As, one running back for Iowa, 8 of 34, and the other one, 12 of 32 and a touchdown. And I felt like they contained the run really well, only giving up 14 points. We can nitpick at offensive things and receivers not getting the ball, but 5-0 is 5-0 for Michigan, and they dominate. I mean, they give up a couple good receiving days for them, as Iowa had the receiver have 4 of 84 and a touchdown, and Nico Reganey 4 of 55.
Some of that stuff was garbage time, though.
It definitely was.
It was on their last drive of the game.
Right. Nico Reganey's pretty good. I like him a lot, though. For Iowa, I like him.
Ultimately, that quarterback they have just limited their offense.
Oh, yeah.
He just not efficient, not a good quarterback.
Yep. Just a brief little overview of that game for Michigan, and we'll move on. Clemson takes out number 10 as 5 Clemson versus 10 NC State. A huge ACC matchup thus far in the season, as it ends up being a 30-20 Clemson win, knocking off NC State for the first time. Let's see this game. Clemson goes up 13-10 at half. This was just a close ball game before Clemson's able to pull away with the 10-point fourth quarter. They give up 3 in the third, really lock it down with only 7 in the fourth. And, they do what they need to win 30 points. Their defense does just enough. DJ, 21 of 30 for 200 yards and a touchdown. Like I said, just enough to win. He also has 14 of 73 and 2 touchdowns, leading the team rushing the ball too. So he just does it himself. Will Shipley doesn't really do much on the ground, gets bottled up, 14 rushes for 60 yards. And nothing to really write home about. 4 of 54 is Clemson's leading receiver. And NC State, Devin Leary has a lackluster 28 of 47 for 1 touchdown and a pick. Their running back, 7 for 32. Devin Leary does have a rushing score, as he must have got like a QB sneak. And their best receiver, 9 of 84. And they had one receiver, Sed Sebro, 1 reception, 2 yards, and a touchdown. So, not much to write home about, just a typical ACC matchup, I guess. 30-20 as Clemson picks up the dub, and we can quickly move in and out of that matchup. USC, Arizona State, USC get their offense together a little bit after didn't they have a pretty lackluster? Yeah, didn't they have a pretty lackluster showing a week ago, offensively?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did 17-14 against Oregon State. But they put up 42 in the win over Arizona State here. Caleb Williams, 27-37, 348, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Travis Dye, 13 rushes, 62 yards, 2 touchdowns. Caleb Williams also rushes for 44 yards and a score. So, pretty good day for Caleb overall. 357 yards of total offense. That's almost 400. Oh, that's crazy. Jordan Addison continuing with his, stellar play from a season ago. He has 8 receptions for 105 on that Arizona State defense. Brendan Rice, 3 for 72, and Mario Williams, 5 of 50. As Caleb really spread the ball around nicely in this one. Arizona State, Emory Jones, 23 of 32, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Their running back, Valladay, 13 for 64 and a touchdown. Byron Thompson, their best receiver, 5 of 86, and he's really the only one to write home about. And, Pac-12 matchup at its finest right there. 42-25.
Kentucky lost to Ole Miss.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
19-22.
Really good undefeated matchup in the SEC as number 7 Kentucky took on number 14 Ole Miss, and Ole Miss pulls off the upset without even throwing a touchdown pass. Jackson Dart, 15 completions for 29 attempts, 213 yards, no touchdowns, but does what he has to. I mean, the running back, Quinshon Judkins, 15 rushes, 106 yards, and a touchdown. And they win the game. I mean, simple as that. Zach Evans gets a rushing score, and they put up 22 points, only give up 19 at home, and they take down Will Lewis. I mean, you gotta just do more. I mean, 18-24 for Will Lewis, 2 touchdowns, no picks, but running the ball. Chris Rodriguez, 19 for 72 and a touchdown. Would like to see a little bit more there. Throwing the ball, Barryon Brown, 2 for 81. Chris Rodriguez, 3 of 40. Jordan Dingle, 3 of 30. I mean, not a bad game offensively for Kentucky, to say the least, but you just got to put up more points. And, Ole Miss is able to keep it low scoring, and they take a big matchup, and that will probably really propel them maybe even into the top 10 as they take down 7 Kentucky.
They'll be a top 10 team for sure.
What a game, though. And what a win for Ole Miss.
Oklahoma State and Baylor.
Yeah, Baylor with 2 losses now on the season. They take an 11-point loss to Oklahoma State as they are climbing up the leaderboard pretty fast here. Are the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Baylor with the loss, obviously, to BYU. And now they're second on the season already. And they're 16th, but they shouldn't fall too far. I mean, the offense did kind of play a little lackluster. Only scoring 25 points.
Yeah, 3 points at half.
Oh, yeah, that's really bad. Yeah, now looking into that.
3 points at half?
They scored none in the fourth. They come out with a 22-point third quarter. And they kind of looked like they were kind of going to finally wake up here. And, nope. Just fall right back on their head here. No points in the fourth. Chapin, 28 of 40, 345, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Pretty bad day if you ask me. Richard Reese, 17 of 85 and a touchdown for the best running back for Baylor. And, wow. Monterey Baldwin, 7 receptions, 174 and 2 touchdowns. What a day. Leads the Baylor receiving room by far. They put up 25 in the loss, and they take another loss. That's huge for Baylor, though. Already taking the second loss in the year. Let's talk about Oklahoma State. Spencer Sanders, only 9 incompletions, 181, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Not the prettiest day, but survive and advance. Win your games that you need to. He also contributes 75 yards on the ground and a touchdown, leading the team in rushing, which is crazy. Dominic Richardson, his running back, 24 rushes, 73 yards, just completely bottled up by the Baylor defense. Brendan Presley, 8 for 86 for Oklahoma State, and Braden Johnson, 3 of 60. And the only receiving touchdown was Bryson Green, 2 of 40 and a touchdown. 36-25 Oklahoma wins. Moving on from that game.
Northwestern lost to Penn State, 17-7.
Wow, that's a pretty lackluster game. I figured, you would think Penn State being ranked 11. I mean, I know Big Ten games can be tricky sometimes, but only getting 17 points against this really bad Northwestern team. What does that say? What do you think?
Sloppy. Very sloppy.
I mean, you got Sean Clifford, 10 completed passes on the day. Are you kidding me?
10 touchdown and interception.
That's terrible. For somebody that's supposed to be as good as Sean Clifford was supposed to be.
Yeah, real sloppy game for Penn State. 5 turnovers. That's why they're beating themselves.
They must have had a lot of fumbles. That's insane. Just a real sloppy win. Was that at home for Penn State as well? Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Wow. Nicholas Singleton, 21 carries, 87 yards. Katron Allen also had 21 carries for 86 yards. And it looked like they kind of just leaned on the ground here and did what they needed to win.
Four lost fumbles by Penn State.
That is absolutely miserable, though, to have 4 fumbles. They escape with a win. Their best receiver, Parker Washington, 4 of 73. Ryan Helinski, 37 passes, 15 completed, 210, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Only 7 points mustered. They score a touchdown in the third, and that was it. Their running back is terrible. 11 rushes for 45 yards. And their best receiver, 4 receptions for 55 yards. Just a sloppy day, a sloppy Big Ten game, and a 17-7 win for Penn State in a game I bet they want to forget, as they could even drop. Penn State could definitely drop because of this, for sure.
Oregon State loses 16-42 against Utah.
Yeah, just a nice, quick Pac-12 beatdown. Cameron Rising for Utah, 19-25, 199 and 3 scores.
Wow.
Cameron Rising also leads the team in rushing, 7 rushes for 73 yards and a touchdown. Their best running back, 6 of 19, 6 of 18, 6 of 13, and 1 of 22 on a score. And their running backs don't do anything, but Utah still dominates Oregon State. Devon Valet, 7 for 94 on a score, and Maki Bernard, 3 of 37 for the Utah offense. Looking at Oregon State quickly, Ben Gulbranson, 12 completions, 21 attempts, 177, no touchdowns, 2 picks. Running the ball, 10 for 44, 8 for 42, 1 for 29 in the score. Only really good thing on this offense were the receivers. Trayshawn Harrison, 8 receptions for 96 yards, including a 63-yard reception. And Anthony Gold, 5 for 79 in the loss. Stanford, Oregon, 45-27. Another late night Pac-12 beatdown. Bo Nix, 16 for 29, 161, 2 scores. And look at the fall of the Stanford program since the losses of Harbaugh and David Shaw, and wow, now they're 1-3 and they can't even compete with. They can't even put up a fight really against Oregon. I mean, they lose by a couple of scores, but wow, crazy. 1-3. Running the ball, Bo Nix, running the ball. 6 rushes for 141.
Wow.
And 2 touchdowns. What a day for Bo Nix. The running back even 10 rushes for 97 yards. What a day on the ground for
he had an 80-yard touchdown run in the third quarter.
Wow.
Just pouring it on.
What a day. Ty Thompson comes in. He's 1 of 5 for 3 yards and a pick. Not looking the best, but Oregon wins. I mean, Maki for Stanford, 19 for 33, 166, 2 touchdowns. He does what he has to. I mean, puts up 27. Defense really doesn't play behind him. Running the ball, Filkins, 19 carries for 80 yards. Would like to see a little bit better than 4 yards per carry, but oh well. And their best receiver, 3 receptions for 59 yards. So could have had a little bit better offensive day, but they put up 27, so they fall to Oregon. They fall to 1-3, and they've lost 3 straight, including losses to USC, Washington, and Oregon, as they now have to take on Oregon State and Notre Dame. But they get a couple of chances for some wins, but those could be some close games for them, for sure.
Texas A&M got upset 24-42 by Mississippi State.
Wow, Texas A&M suffered yet another loss on the season. They have just had A lot of close games. This one really wasn't close, but the second loss on the season, 42-24. They take another loss besides the loss to Appalachian State.
4 turnovers by Texas A&M.
Wow, 4 Texas A&M turnovers. Definitely will not help you win a ball game here.
And a blocked field goal touchdown. 50 yards.
Looking at Texas A&M in the loss here, Max Johnson, 19 for 26, 200 yards and a touchdown. Haynes King was 6 of 13, 49 yards and 2 interceptions. So I don't know what happened there. If an injury occurred or what happened. But Devon Akine, 16 for 111. L.J. Johnson, 3 of 25 and a touchdown. And Haynes King, which must be the backup quarterback, 2 of 14 and a score. Nothing really going on. Moses Muhammad, best receiver for A&M, 6 or 7 for 119 and a score. And Evan Stewart, 5 for 56, as he's the only thing to really run home out there. Let's talk about Mississippi State as they get an upset win, improving to 4-1, as they should definitely be ranked now with the win over Texas A&M. Will Rogers, 45 passes. He goes 31 of 45, 329 and 3 scores, as he does what he needs to win. Dylan Johnson, 14 rushes, 68 yards and a score. Definitely would like to see more for your ground game, but Rara Thomas, 5 receptions, 134 and a score. And Justin Robinson, 6 of 50. As he's really not, they don't really have too much. Rufus Harvey, 5 of 41 in the score. Good game, good win for the Bulldogs of Mississippi State. And they look to enter the rankings now.
Ooh. On to the next big upset. TCU upsets Oklahoma with 55 points to win 55-24.
Just proving the fact that Oklahoma has no defense.
None.
And will serve no match in the SEC. They are going to be bottom feeders there with the defense they're putting out. They better learn how to recruit some defense fast. Because if you're giving up that many points to a terrible Horned Frogs team.
Just look at these big plays. 73-yard pass, touchdown.
5 touchdowns for the quarterback.
67-yard touchdown run, a 62-yard touchdown pass, and a 69-yard touchdown run. Just, wow. Talk about no defense.
Look at your quarterback. Dylan Gabriel gets injured. He goes 7 of 16 for 126. He comes out with the injury. The backup, 7 for 16 for 50 yards. Terrible offensive day. Lucky to even score 24 points as your running back.
Gosh.
Javante Barnes, 18 for 100 yards and 2 scores. And Eric Gray, 13 for 60 and a score. And they really only got production offensively on the ground. Their leading receiver, 2 receptions, 81 yards, 4 receptions for 41 yards. Nothing going for Oklahoma. And for TCU.
TCU had 668 total yards.
Oh my God. Yeah, look at that.
That's almost 7 football fields.
Yeah, that's insane.
That is absolutely atrocious. I always knew Oklahoma's defense was never good, but that's pretty embarrassing.
And so, Kurt, let me tell you this. So Oklahoma's now gonna go into the swamp on a yearly basis. Gonna go into Ole Miss's field. Gonna go to Bama every year. Gonna go to Auburn every year.
Georgia.
Gonna go to they're gonna lose. They're literally gonna be the new Vanderbilt. Really, I think this is a terrible move for Oklahoma. They have no defense, and
I'd even say Kentucky would beat them.
Yeah,
Kentucky would handle them.
Kentucky's 7. They're better than them right now.
Yeah,
and they would definitely handle them right now. Look at this offensive day for TCU. Max Duggan, 23 of 33, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, rushing the ball. Kendre Miller, 13 rushes, 136, 2 scores. Max Duggan, 5 for 116 and 2 scores, including a 67-yard rush. What a day Even a second running back, 8 carries for 62 yards and a touchdown. Just TCU did whatever they wanted on their home field, and they made a mockery of the
Sooners.
And they could even enter the ranking at 4-0 here. TCU. I mean,
I think you got to.
Who have they played? They don't have any big wins. SMU, Tarleton, and Colorado, but
still impressive to do that.
They play the 19th ranked Jayhawks and then the 7th ranked. Oh, look at the schedule though. They played Oklahoma 18. They play the 19th ranked Jayhawks, 7 ranked Cowboys of Oklahoma State, and then the 20 ranked Kansas State.
Yeah, nice 3 games.
Wow. Texas unranked. You got Texas. You got Baylor there at the end. Yeah. TCU's got some games, but they are ranked. They are ranked 17. I don't know if I said they were.
It doesn't show on the scores from Saturday.
Yeah,
the updated
rank. They did. Right.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So on the next one, Purdue upsets Minnesota 20-10.
Yeah, I mean Minnesota.
Wow.
Minnesota had some buzz in that they were thought to have been the best in the Big Ten, that side of the Big Ten, but they suffer a loss. They only muster 10 points against this Purdue team. I mean, 3-2 Purdue. Look at this quarterback, Tanner Morgan, 3 interceptions, 18 for 33, 257, no touchdowns. Running the ball, no success. 11 for 35 and a touchdown was their best runner. And Daniel Jackson had a day, though. 6 for 110, and he's the only thing to write home about for Minnesota. Looking at Purdue, they don't even really do much. Aiden O'Connell, it's pretty much who plays worse in this one, as he goes 27 of 40, 199, 0 touchdowns, 2 picks. Running the ball, it's a tale of just having a better running day for Purdue. They had a running back go 11 for 112 and a touchdown, and 10 for 32 and a touchdown. Their best receiver was 6 of 55, as this game was just a terrible, awful Big Ten game. And Purdue picked up the win 22-10. And we will quickly move on from that one.
Wake Forest versus Florida State. Wake Forest comes out with a win, 31-21.
Big 22 versus 23 matchup. You know, there was some real buzz surrounding the Florida State Seminoles and what they could be with them not having a loss. But Wake Forest, unbeaten in their own right, comes out. Sam Hartman, 22 of 34, 234, 2 touchdowns, does what he has to. Justin Ellison, 18 for 114. Kristen Turner, 20 of 64, both picking up touchdowns. And they beat Florida State. Wake Forest could definitely see a decent bump in the rankings here. I could definitely see them moving up a couple spots. As their best receiver, A.T. Perry, 8 for 91 in the score. Florida State in the loss, Jordan Travis played really well, 23 of 35. Would have liked some more points, but 281 and 3 touchdowns. You really can't complain about that. Running the ball, 13 for 87. Not too bad. And their receivers, Maki Pittman, 5 of 85 and 2 touchdowns. And Johnny Wilson, 6 of 85 and a score in the loss for the Seminoles. Closing out these final games, we have Georgia Tech beating Pittsburgh. That is a terrible, terrible look. Pittsburgh now has losses to Tennessee and Georgia Tech. Wow. I had high hopes for this Pittsburgh team. And Kenny Slow was just, I guess you really can't blame him. He really didn't play bad. 26 of 45, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Only puts up 21 points. Running the ball, you only muster 80 yards rushing against the Georgia Tech defense. That's pretty bad. But look at this Georgia Tech offense. 11 completions for 100 yards in the score for the Georgia Tech quarterback. Hassan Hall, 20 carries for 157. Jeff Sims, 19 carries for 81 in that weird Georgia Tech offense. And they pick up a big win. And they beat Pitt. That's crazy. Best receiver, 54 yards and a touchdown. Just crazy that they'd be able to beat Pitt.
It works.
I guess they got the job done for them, didn't it? They got the job done. All right, last game of the night.
Texas Tech loses 28-37 against Kansas State.
They get a big 9-point win over a Texas Tech team, giving them their second loss of the year. And Kansas State improves to 4-1.
Adrian Martinez.
Adrian Martinez comes to ball again.
Wow.
With another, he's had these games this year for Kansas State where he really hasn't done much through the year. 12 of 19, 116 and a touchdown. Not too bad, not too good, but with his legs, 12 of 171, 3 touchdowns. He had a big play to start this game, I do believe. As he just does what he has to.
He had a long of 69 yards. Touchdown scored in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Great.
That gave them the lead.
Great game for Adrian Martinez. Their running back, Deuce Vaughn, in his own right, gets overshadowed a little bit. He has 23 of 170. Great game. Great game for him. He averages 7 a carry.
Yeah. That'll do it. That's one way to win a game.
This just shows you the receiving core for Kansas State. 3 receptions for 47 yards and 5 receptions for 36 yards and a touchdown. What a day. Texas Tech mustered 28 points. Donovan Smith, 34 of 48, 359, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, running the ball. They rushed for 34 times through 3 players. Their best rusher having 55 yards total. Texas Tech never obviously being that rushing team. Xavier White having a good day for 9 receptions for 120 yards and a touchdown. And Trey Cleveland for 3 for 98 in the loss. And that will round out our coverage, our little recap of the week in college football. Week 5 is in the books. But now we want to highlight a couple different topics in this week in college football that we thought would be interesting for the podcast. And we will start with the newest news on this Sunday night as Paul Chryst gets fired.
Yep.
From Wisconsin. Crazy. He was there for a long time, and his tenure
been there for 8 seasons.
Comes to an end. Wow. Wisconsin was never really getting any better. Couldn't really contend in that soft side of the Big Ten either. So they finally say enough is enough, and they out him as their coach.
Yeah. His best season was 2017. They went 13-1 and won the Orange Bowl. But outside of that, I mean, just...
He goes out after losing to... What a way to go out, too. You lose 52-21 to Ohio State. You lose 34-10 to Illinois. Your only wins on the year were a 38-0 Illinois State win and a 66-7 win over New Mexico State. You couldn't even beat Washington State. Yeah, it
was time.
It was time. Wisconsin needs a younger guy to try to lead them and take advantage of that. But who knows what will happen with the division after this year, so it might be too little too late. But Chryst gets canned after the loss, and we definitely needed to mention that as a long-time Big Ten coach finally sees the door. Who knows? I wonder who Wisconsin will go after. Urban? Question mark?
No chance.
Are they going to make the call?
Herbs want to go there.
Right.
Here's my recap of the Michigan win versus Iowa. I think it was a huge win for Michigan. A game in which the score looked closer to really what it was. If we're only a few inches away from this game ultimately being a blowout. A dropped interception that was a pick six, no doubt.
Like a walk-in pick six.
DJ Turner just dropped that one. And JJ ultimately just overthrowing the ball a little bit on that deep throw he had right in the end zone. I mean, those 2 plays right there, I mean, that gives you at least 10 more points. 37-14 looks a lot better.
Definitely makes it a little more comfortable for you.
Absolutely.
It sucks to only see JJ get that one
attempt.
That one deep throw. We're going to need him to hit those deep balls, and I think that they need to try to scheme up some more shots downfield so he has it in his arsenal and it's ready for the big games.
I really liked how I really liked the play calling the first half of the game, offensively speaking. I mean, the run was just working great, but the second half couldn't really convert third downs, couldn't really stay on the field, and really just played not to lose.
We definitely
in my
played
opinion.
Scared.
We played conservative, a little bit too conservative.
Yeah.
I mean,
I thought so too.
I understand it's JJ's first road start. You know, you're on road in a big time
Really
place
hostile,
like that. You know,
yeah, tough environment.
but if he's the guy, you gotta let him. You know,
Win
show
the
him confidence.
game.
Don't just let him. Don't just have him go out there and just don't turn over and just throw 2 yards. No, let him wing it. You know, he made some good plays. He played within the system. Corum had massive runs. The line played great, and Corum had that ultimate.
I'm saying it right now. Corum is easily top 3 in the country.
I think he's the best right now. I'll say it right now.
Should end up at least as a finalist for the Heisman if he continues this pace.
He can do it all. He
is very.
He's nasty.
Very good.
The line played great. I mean, considering Iowa had one of the best defenses in the country, they allowed the most points they've allowed the whole season. Should have allowed more, but there's a couple plays we missed on. Defense came up big when we needed to. It got down to 4th and goal. We got to stop. They brought some pressure when they needed it. I mean, I thought Michigan played pretty good, and it's nice to come out with the win. No injuries to speak of, and what else is there really to say? People are going to hate regardless. That's all I got to say.
Right. And
so I like it.
Yeah, I mean,
head Indiana next week on the road. Let's keep this train going.
Right. For me, like I said, the positives, I would say that Blake Corum looks like a Heisman contender, 29-133 and a touchdown, and a really tough. You know, it doesn't matter. Iowa's always going to have that tough defense. It's just how they're coached, no matter what. No matter how their offense is, they're always going to have that tough defense. So for Corum to really strut his dominance and, you know, run all over them really all game shows how good he really is. JJ only getting that one deep ball is a little bit of a concern for the offense for me, as I would like to see him get some more, as we're going to need him down the stretch, obviously, to make some big throws. For the defense, I thought that outside of that last couple series of the game, that pass rush looked terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Oki, number 18, I know he's newer and was brought in late into camp, former 5-star, but he needs to play more, point blank period. He is our best edge rusher on the team that I've seen so far, and I don't know why he doesn't play more. They like to cycle guys in and out at that spot, but I thought that we got pretty decent interior
Mason
pressure.
Graham, yeah. Monty Smith had a few nice rushes.
We stopped the run pretty well, I thought, today, which was good, but definitely not enough pass rush for me today, especially against a really bad Petrus. He had some guys that were wide open in the middle, and I kind of feel like we're kind of still a little bit lackluster in that front 7 to linebacking core area right now, and could be something to watch out for as we get later in the season. But you know what it is for Michigan: survive and advance. They get the win in a hostile Kinnick, stadium, and they hadn't done that in 20 years. It's a big win, huge win for Michigan on the road, and we take on Indiana.
Business as usual.
On the road again, and let's get it. But as we look to close out the college football portion, we must talk about
the other Michigan
Tucker
team
and Michigan State right now. Mel Tucker obviously got that massive contract.
Massive.
And he now has 3 straight losses to then unranked Washington, 39-28. Minnesota was on the come up, but they get absolutely waxed on their home field, 34-7, and then they lose at Maryland 27-13.
Not surprised about that one.
Not surprised. I told everybody that I talked to that Maryland was legit, and they came and they took it to the Spartans. But everybody is calling for Mel Tucker. Was it too soon for the big contract? You know, did the agent have a big part to play in him making all that money? And was he really not worth it? All the questions that you don't really want to hear from Michigan State fans this early in the season, as they now sit 2-3 on the year, and the schedule doesn't get easier. They play Ohio State at home. They get Wisconsin, and then they play Michigan in Ann Arbor.
That's their game of the season,
and that'll be their Super Bowl. So that's gonna end up being a close game, more than likely, just because how it ended up being. But Michigan State definitely had the results that they thought they would, and 2-3 on the year, and they gotta play Ohio State next week. So tough loss for them. But
underwhelming.
Mel Tucker though, wow.
Yeah, that Maryland game's one thing, but man, to get crushed at home by Minnesota, 34-7.
Yeah.
That's you can't even defend that.
That's pretty embarrassing.
Maryland's solid, but wow, poor showing.
Definitely a poor showing. And Carter, you got anything to add for the college football, or you want to?
No, I think we covered it pretty well.
Nice. Yeah. All right, we can slide on over into some NFL coverage. As we are recording this, the Sunday night football game is taking place as it is near the end of the first quarter. 14-3, Chiefs over Bucks right now. Talking about the first game of the day, the Vikings improve to 3-1 with a win, 28-25 over the Saints. Good game. Let's talk about Dalton and the Saints first. I will say first, this was kind of a back and forth with calls, but the Saints near the end just got absolutely hosed at the end.
That PI.
That PI was miserable. And then to have Marshawn Lattimore get burnt by Justin Jefferson at the end is just the icing on the cake to give up the game-winning field goal. But that's just a miserable PI call to set that up, and the Saints get hosed, man. Andy Dalton plays great. He needs to be the starter. I'm sorry.
Moving forward, he should be the starter.
He needs to be the starter. 20 of 28, 236 and a touchdown. He commanded that offense pretty well. Latavius Murray being your leading rusher isn't great. Kamara must not have played in this game.
He was inactive, yeah.
That's a big loss for them, but still had plenty of chances to win. And Latavius Murray, 11 for 57, could have been a little bit better. But Mark Ingram gets 10 of 30, and Taysom Hill 5 of 21 in the score. Chris Olave continues his Rookie of the Month with a 4-reception, 67-yard, and a touchdown game as he leads the receivers. Nobody else really done much. Callaway 3 of 53. Troutman 3 of 37. And the Saints get the close loss. Tough one. Kirk Cousins 25 of 38. 273. A touchdown and a pick. Dalvin Cook 20 rushes, 76 yards. I felt the Saints contained Dalvin Cook pretty well today. Didn't really give up that big a run plays. But like I said, Jay Jettis went nuts. Justin Jefferson 10 for 147. Long of 41. And sealed the day with a big time grab to set up the game-winning field goal over Lattimore. Thielen had a good day in his own right. 8 for 72. And, the Minnesota Vikings improved to 3-1, and they are really the only impressive team right now. The Packers aren't bad, but the Vikings are looking pretty good coming out of the North right now in the NFC.
Absolutely.
Wow. Falcons, Browns, 2-2. Browns, 2-2 Falcons.
Yep.
Jacoby Brissett plays decent, just couldn't get it done in the end. I mean, Jacoby in the loss, 23 of 35, 234, no touchdowns, and a pick. He unwisely throws a pick at the end of the game when I felt like they could have just checked it down, maybe try to get a field goal, but it's late in the game. He's just trying to make a play and he throws a pick. So they throw the pick there. Nick Chubb getting the bulk of the carries as he should. 19 carries for 118 and a touchdown for him. Kareem Hunt adds in his 10 for 49. I wish he would get traded as he could really contribute.
Be used.
Big numbers somewhere else, I feel like.
Most definitely.
Best receiver for Cleveland was David Njoku, 5 for 73, as Donovan Peoples-Jones has a 5 for 71 yard game as he rounds out the receivers. David Bell, the Purdue rookie, 2 of 35, couple nice catches. Cleveland takes a loss in this one to the Falcons, and they give me my first miss-up in my pick-em, as I did pick the Cleveland Browns to win. Marcus Mariota, only 7 completed passes, and he gets the win. 139, no touchdowns, and a pick. Best running back, they ran by committee pretty much. 10 for 84 was one running back. Caleb Huntley, 10 for 56 and a score. And Cordero Patterson, 9 for 38 and a score. It took whatever they needed to get the win. And they do just that. Their best receiver, 2 receptions for 55, 1 of 25, 1 of 22. Just nothing to really write home about offensively for either of these teams. And 23-20, Falcons come out with a win. Cowboys taking out the Commanders. They come out 25-10. Carson Wentz kind of comes back down to earth here with a more of a Carson Wentz-esque game here.
Yeah.
25 of 42.
Wentz.
Makes us wince a little bit. 170, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Just we can't expect that, to be honest.
He's sizzling out.
Yep.
Just a bad offensive line.
Right. Had his couple moments to shine here to start the years, but nothing to show for. Their running back, nothing, as Dallas' defense played really well. 13 for 49 was Antonio Gibson, and Jonathan Williams, 5 of 48. J.D. McKissick, 8 of 40. Nothing going on. Jahan Dotson, 3 of 43 in a score, is the best receiver as Curtis Samuel puts in 4 of 38. Look at Terry McLaurin doing absolutely nothing. That's crazy. 2 of 15, as he has been nullified in this offense this year. Let's cover Cooper Rush, 4-0. The first Dallas starter to start 4-0. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And this could legitimately, and I'm being serious,
Crazy controversy.
End up a controversy whenever Dak Prescott.
And you gotta stay with the Coop.
I feel like you really do.
At this point, I would.
He's looked better than Dak so far this season. He finishes 15 of 27, 223, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Elliott compiles 19 for 49. They don't use my TP like I need them to. Tony Pollard, 8 carries for 6 yards. Cooper Rush contributes 2 of 7.
The game and gets the ball out.
CeeDee Lamb gets some nice. He gets 8 targets, 6 receptions, 97 yards and a touchdown. Noah Brown used really well, and that's a nice 1-2 punch for them. 3 for 61. Michael Gallup coming back in the lineup, 2 for 24 in a score, and Dallas picks up the much-needed division win, 25-10. The no defense in Ford Field showing as the Seahawks take out the depleted Lions, 48-46. Jared Goff tosses 4 touchdown passes and a pick in the loss. He goes 26 of 39 for 378, as he had a great day. If the Lions have
but I mean, a lot of that though was in the fourth quarter.
That doesn't. What's that matter? It's still a ball game.
They got it back within score, but I mean,
it's still a ball game at that point. You still got to play good. That's still a good game out of golf. You still got to play better as a defense to give up 48.
Yeah, for sure.
Jamal Williams, he hits 100 on the ground and 2 scores. I mean, the offense does what they need to for me in Detroit today. Hawkinson with the crazy 8 for 179 and 2 scores, including a 81-yard reception, 12 targets for Hawk today. Josh Reynolds, their leading actual receiver, 7 receptions for 81 yards in the score. And they do just fine without Amon-Ra St. Brown or Swift in the loss. Seattle, how do they match that? Gino! Look at Gino! Give it up for Gino, baby. 23 of 30. Give it up for Gino, man. 320, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Rashad Penny, 17 carried, 151 on the ground for 2 scores. Gino contributes 49 rushing yards and another touchdown on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
What a day for Geno Smith. Metcalf steals of the Thunder, 7 receptions for 49 yards. Lockett still contributes with 6 receptions for 91 yards, as the Seattle offense does really well in this shootout. And they pick up the field goal win. Only put up 10 points in the fourth, but they do what they need to. Escape the Lions, that's for sure. Lions defense, though, you got to do something, man.
Abysmal.
Phew.
Abysmal.
Another close divisional game as the 1-2-1 Colts take on the 2-2 Titans. And the Titans come away with a touchdown win, 24-17. What do you think of this game? I mean, Tannehill plays really well. Only 4 incompletions on the day. 137, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, they control this game essentially from start to finish. Matt Ryan sucks. Jonathan Taylor can't do everything by himself.
Yeah, he was shut down 20 for 42.
Offensive line isn't blocking good. The Colts suck.
Wow.
The Colts suck.
Poor Jonathan Taylor, that's all I got to say. Derrick Henry showing that he's back to where, to where everybody didn't think he would be able to get to. I passed him up. I don't really regret it because Lost Neck was doing pretty good, but he had a good day in his own right. 22, 114, and a touchdown. Tannehill, like I said, great day. Best receiver for him, 38 yards and a touchdown for Chijim Okinawa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just,
he spread the ball around, but they didn't really do too much. They literally just did enough.
Derrick Henry and just play good defense.
Yeah.
And that's all you needed there.
And then for the Colts, they're just terrible. Their offense, Mo Alley Cox has a good 6 for 85 and 2 touchdowns. Alec Pierce has 4 of 80. And Keelan Graham has 4 of 62. They have a good receiving day, but just terrible. No blocking. Matt Ryan's pretty bad, and Jonathan Taylor can't do it all by himself. So they get the loss, and moving on. We got the Giants narrowly escaping the Bears as the Giants improved to 3-1 on the season.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't have thought that for sure. We got the Giants beating the Bears 20-12. In this one, Justin Fields only had 11 completed passes for 174, no touchdowns, no picks. Khalil Herbert, 19 for 77. Fields used his legs a little bit, 7 for 52. Not too bad there. Darnell Mooney, 4 receptions for 94 yards. He's really the only one that does anything through the air for the Bears as they dropped to 2-2. But Daniel Jones, 8 for 13, 71 yards. Tyrod Taylor comes in 1 for 3, 11 yards and a pick. Poor Tyrod. No one really does too much for the offense in this game. I mean, Saquon Barkley is pretty much the entire offense for both teams here as he rushes 31 times for 146 yards.
That's a lot of carries.
Daniel Jones puts in 2 rushing touchdowns, and the Giants narrowly escape the Bears. Jags, Eagles,
Yep.
29-21. What a matchup.
Eagles with a comeback to pull out a win.
Yeah, Eagles weren't they pretty much behind the whole game?
Yeah, they were. There were.
Trevor Lawrence, another pretty bad rookie showing. 11 completions for 23 attempts, 174, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Let's see a little more completion there out of Trevor Lawrence. Travis Etienne and James Robinson both can't do anything. 8 for 32 and 8 for 29. And Christian Kirk doesn't do anything. 2 for 60. Agnew, 4 for 50 and 2 scores. He does the best for Jacksonville. Jalen Hurts does what he does. No touchdowns through the air, but 200 yards, 16 to 25. Miles Sanders literally carries the Eagles to victory, 27.
Yeah. The Eagles scored all their points primarily in the second quarter.
He's a workhorse back.
And then the Jags got the lead in the fourth quarter. They were down 21-20. Then they scored 9 points unanswered to close it out.
Miles Sanders proves he can be a workhorse back with the 27 carries for 134 and 2 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts gets 38 on the ground. Gainwell doesn't do much, only getting 19. A.J. Brown with a 95-yard day on 5 receptions. Goddard at 72 yards on 5 receptions. Devontae Smith doesn't do anything, of course. Nope. 3 of 17. And that will round it out for that game as Philly improves and stays unbeaten at 4.
The only undefeated team.
The only undefeated team at 4-0. That's crazy. I'm kind of sniffing a good start to a monumental collapse here at the end for the Eagles.
I don't know. Long season.
All right, Kurt. It's time. We got to just rip the Band-Aid off for you. 24-20. Jets over Pittsburgh. Jets improve to 2-2. Drop the Steelers to 1-3. And you definitely got to take it away for this one. What happened?
I'm just going to keep it short and simple. The Jets and Zach Wilson ultimately won the game in the fourth quarter. They were down 10-20. About 14 minutes left. And Pittsburgh...
What a collapse.
They collapsed. Kenny Pickett, we had the ball at the Jets' 40-yard line, looking to go in and get some points, maybe just manage the clock. We turn the ball over there. Jets come down and score. And we go 3 and out. The Jets come down, kill all the clock, get multiple first downs, and ultimately run in for a touchdown. And that's about that. Zach Wilson made a lot of good throws those last 2 drives, and ultimately defense blew it.
How do you feel about Pickett this far?
I mean, it's a really small sample size. You have him come in. I mean, if you're going to start him, you should have started him from the start of the game, not the second half. That's really spontaneous. But he made a couple of good plays, but 3 picks doesn't look too good, even though a couple of those weren't his fault. But he made a couple of nice throws, but again, just couldn't finish the game. So ultimately, Pittsburgh moves to 1-3, and the Jets come out with a big win for them, 2-2.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, for me, I really kind of kept tabs on this game. I saw Trubisky started with the early pick and can never really get it going. They throw 4 picks and no touchdown on the day, combined for a 49% rating between the two. Just not a good day, as Nas can't get anything going behind that terrible Pittsburgh goal line, rushing 18 times for 74 yards. Breece Hall continues his really pretty good rookie season. Michael Carter kind of sucked for him. He was a good back, and now he's just kind of stolen the show Breece Hall has. But 17 for 66 and a score for him. Zach Wilson, 18 for 36, 252, a touchdown and 2 picks. Does what he has to. Not the best, but receiving the ball. Corey Davis, 5 of 74 and a touchdown. 3 for 53 for Elijah Moore. And Tyler Conklin, 3 for 52. Garrett Wilson with a quiet 2 for 41. Couple stellar weeks.
Yeah. Had a couple big drops today, but Jets with the win.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson was targeted 6 times, so to only come up with 2 receptions is pretty bad, but they get the win and drop Pittsburgh. Another loss down. We got to talk about one of the best games of the weekend in my opinion. Bills, Ravens. I watched all of this game. I picked the Bills to win this game. The Ravens started out with a huge lead. Wasn't it like
17 points? They're up at 1 point.
That's what I thought. 17-0. We'll talk about Lamar and the loss. He only has 9 incompletions, but 2 of those are interceptions. Only 144 yards. He's kind of playing like a running back. Only 144 yards through the air. He's really going to cut it. Lamar Jackson rushes for 11 times, 73 yards, leading the team on the ground, which is terrible. J.K. Dobbins only musters 41 yards on 13 carries, and Justice Hill only musters 45 yards on 8 carries. Duvernay, 51 yards on 4 receptions. Dobbins, 22 yards and a touchdown on 4 receptions, and that's really the only thing to mention for them. Josh Allen in the comeback win. 19-36, 213, 1 passing touchdown, 1 interception. Josh Allen on the ground leads the team, puts the team on his back, 11 carries, 70 yards as he is a little tank. He has a rushing score as well. What a day for Josh Allen. Singletary, 11 for 49. And that's a pretty terrible day on the ground for him. Stephon Diggs, best receiver, 4 for 62. Devin Singletary through the air, 4 for 47. And Dawson Knox, 3 for 40. The only one else to mention there. As Buffalo picks up a huge win. Improved to 3-1. Drops Baltimore to 2-2. That's a huge
Another
loss.
Blown lead for them. A lot of people are critiquing Harbaugh for not kicking a field goal on 4th down and letting go for it.
Yeah, I thought that was crazy. I thought that was definitely crazy that they didn't.
That's how he plays though. He has a knack to go for it a lot, and sometimes that will cost you. And ultimately, that's kind of what costed them. But at the same time, Lamar on that offense just going quiet completely also contributed to the Bills coming back with Jordan Poyer getting 2 picks. So, big win for Buffalo, and Baltimore drops.
Next game, we are talking about the Los Angeles Chargers defeat the Houston Texans, leaving the Texans still winless at 0-3-1. Davis Mills definitely doesn't look the best. I cannot believe they stuck with him, and they're kind of paying the consequences now. He goes 26-35, 246, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Isn't the worst against the Chargers, but not the best either. Dameon Pierce has a really good day. 14 carries, 131 yards, and a touchdown. Nico Collins leads the way for the Texans through the air. 3 receptions, 82 yards. Brendan Cooks had a good day. 7 for 57 in the score. And Rex Burkhead, 5 of 39 in the score to round out Houston's offense. Pretty damn terrible. Looking at Herbo, they put up 20 in the second quarter and only a touchdown in the second half. Wow.
Yeah, pretty much just hung on after that.
Yeah.
Just don't lose it.
27-39 for Justin Herbert, 340, 2 touchdowns. Austin Eckler finally breaks out for my fantasy team. 13 rushes for 60 yards and 2 scores. Kelly, they finally don't use that stupid committee with Michelle only getting 6 carries and Joshua Kelly only getting 4. Through the air, Mike Williams, what a day, 7 for 120. Everett, 5 for 61 and a score on my bench, of course. And receiving, Austin Eckler, 6 receptions for 49 yards and a score in the win for the...
This is the Chargers that were supposed to be here this year. This is supposed to be what...
That's what I expected the Chargers to be. And I hope that will continue.
Yep. They moved to 2-2 in the season, and Houston remains winless.
Got to talk about the Cardinals and Panthers. I predicted this game to be pretty good, and it finished pretty good. 26 for 16, 23-32 for Kyler Murray, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. James Conner, 15 for 55. Running the ball there. Not much to mention. Kyler tried to run 12 times, 26 yards and a touchdown. Not much going for either offense, honestly.
No.
Marquise Brown, 6 for 88 in a score. Zach Ertz, 6 for 47 in a score. I mean, not too bad, but Christian McCaffrey, leading receiver, that's pretty bad. 9 for 81 in a touchdown. DJ Moore, 6 for 50.
Yeah.
In the loss, Christian McCaffrey only mustered 8 carries in the game. That's pretty crazy. 27 yards.
Baker just ain't looking good, man.
He's looking real mid. The Browns are looking like they were right in what they did, as he had another midday, 22 of 36, 197, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and yet another loss for the Panthers. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. If you're the Browns, I mean, you got to be justified at this point. The Panthers look terrible.
Yeah, their offense hasn't been able to get going. I don't know why they use McCaffrey more, to be honest with you, but Baker has definitely not looked good so far this season.
Yeah. Closing it out with the last couple games, we got to talk about another crazy game. The Packers 27-24 overtime win as Aaron Rodgers. Woo. The headline make it sound like he drives down the field. Pretty much it was Dillon and Jones getting them down the field.
Carrying the load.
Rodgers finishes 21 of 35, 251, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Jones, 16 carries, 110. As A.J. Dillon gets an equal 17 carries for 73 yards. Christian Watson gets a rushing touchdown on a 15-yard rushing score. Lazard leads the way as he has a dominating 6 receptions for 116 yards. Romeo Doubs, 5 for 47 in a touchdown. And Robert Tonyan also puts in a score with 2 receptions for 22 yards in the close win. I mean, you got to give it to Belichick here. You have your third-string quarterback ready.
Brian Hoyer gets hurt early.
Lambeau Field. Brian Hoyer gets injured early. 6 completed passes, 37 yards. Bailey Zapp comes in 10 for 15 in Lambeau Field, 99 yards and a touchdown. Great day for him. Hats off. Almost picks up the win.
Absolutely.
Close overtime loss in Lambeau. Damian Harris could have played better. 86 yards and a touchdown on 18 carries. 14 carries for Ramondre Stevenson for 66 yards, which isn't bad, but nothing really through the air. 46 yards for Aguilar. Devontae Parker really just fell off a cliff. Since I thought he was going to be real good in his days in Miami, and he just fell off a cliff. 2 for 24 in a score. Patriots fall to 1-3. Yep, Patriots fall to 1-3. Packers improve 2-3-1. The Raiders finally pick up a victory as they win in Vegas over the Broncos, as Broncos country was not really riding. I mean, you can't really be mad at Wilson here. 23 points isn't really bad for a point total to put up. He goes 17 of 25, 237, 2 scores. I mean, that's a good day.
Yeah.
He also puts in 29 yards and a rushing score. I mean, you really want more than 10 for 28 out of Javonte Williams, to be honest. And Melvin Gordon.
He got hurt, though, in that game.
Oh, did he?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Melvin Gordon's another one that just fell off a cliff.
And he fumbled.
He's just a backup. Yeah, he's awful. He is awful. That's crazy. Best receiver, 1 reception for 55 yards for KJ Hamler. That leads the day. Judy has a decent 4 for 53 and a touchdown day. Sutton has a 5 for 52 day and a touchdown. So they have a couple decent receivers, but nothing really right home well.
Mm-mm.
And let's look at Derek Carr. 21 to 34, no touchdowns, 188 yards, but gets the offense down the field when he needs to. 32 points at the offense. Josh Jacobs really takes over. 28 for 144 and 2 scores.
Ran all over him.
Derek Carr puts up 40 yards on the ground. That's not bad. Devontae Adams, after a slow start, finishes with 100 yards on 9 receptions. And another divisional game and a good win for the Raiders.
Much needed for the Raiders.
A really important game.
Much needed.
If they want to come back in the season, a divisional win was a good way to start it off. So, good game for them. And to close it out, we have to talk about the Bengals and Dolphins
Have to.
27-15 win, but more importantly, Kurt, Tua Tagovailoa. Wow, what do you make of that?
I was terrified.
Seeing his hand doing that.
When I saw his hands clench up like that brought me to the moment in which Ryan Shazier suffered a paralysis and was paralyzed and couldn't move his hands either like that. It was honestly really scary.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I thought he might not. I don't know. I mean, they said he's okay now, but my initial fear was, is he ever going to play again? Because it looked like he was seriously in some bad, like, just it didn't look good.
Yeah.
And to be honest, he should never have been cleared to play that game anyways.
Yeah, that guy definitely deserved to be fired.
They fired him.
Good on the
They fired him a couple days ago.
Yeah. Good on the NFLPA to fire that guy, because that is just you are just putting somebody's life on the line for nothing. I don't know how you mess up. If that is your job you make money from and that's what you studied as a profession, how do you mess up that poorly?
You got to save the player from themselves.
How do you mess up that poorly to let him in the game still? Seeing what we saw, him stumble around the field, so disoriented.
Previously, 3 days ago.
Can barely...
From Thursday to Sunday, 3 days.
Can barely move around the field. Just craziness. He should have never been on the field. But let's get away from that a little bit and talk about this win for the Bengals. As they pick up their second win on the season, as they look to right the ship. Joe Burrow, 20 of 31, 287, 2 touchdowns. He definitely rights the ship and has a good day doing it. Joe Mixon, 24 rushes, 61 yards. Need more rushing yards than that.
Yeah.
He gets a touchdown. Decent day for the offense. T. Higgins emerges, 7 receptions for 124. What a day. Jamar Chase puts in his 4 of 81. You know he's always going to get his. And good day, definitely, for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, it was a really close game until Teddy Bridgewater threw a interception as they were on the way to actually drive and potentially take the lead here. But one play is all it takes. And he throws an interception, and Cincinnati comes down, scores, and clinches it. So, big win for them. And, they came out with the win at home. I like those all-white uniforms. Can't lie. Those helmets were nice. That all-white looks good. I like it. That's what they played on Thursday night.
Yeah.
So, they got to sit Tua for a few. I think they need to sit him for a few weeks.
Yeah,
I don't want to see him play
for a minute. We'll definitely see what happens after he gets tested and everything. How they will handle his future, status.
Yeah, that was not a pleasant moment. Not a pleasant moment. Not
at all. Definitely don't want to see that as just a general football fan. But that will do it for our picks. As Kurt, do you have anything else you wanted to add? No? That will do it. A nice, long, hour and a half long podcast as we're sitting here. We're definitely still going to make some cuts, but good little recap episode as we will still get you guys one out either Sunday night or Monday morning or night, whatever.
Probably tomorrow.
Whatever happens, whatever happens at this point.
Well, we'll get back on track next week, so we will talk to y'all.
We'll see you Wednesday night for the upcoming Thursday game. Hope you guys have a good week. Hope you guys enjoyed the college football and NFL week.
Hybrid.
And as always, this is Made on Ridgeway Sports Podcast, episode 38. We are out of here.
K-Mac out.
Peace.